In this section of the webinar, we're going to talk about an action plan. What is an action plan? It's a written plan that acts as a guide for a COPD exacerbation, more commonly known as a flare-up. It has 3 sections in color that resemble a stoplight: green, amber, and red. It also includes a prescription for antibiotics and an oral steroid, such as prednisone. This is what an action plan looks like. So as you see at the top, you'll see the patient's name, the date, and what your goals are. So for an example, your goal might be to be able to exercise every day because you enjoy that, to go for a walk or to golf or to keep working, whatever your goals may be. Your support contacts. So it could be someone from the program. It could be a family member, someone that understands, what you go through with your COPD. And as you can see, it's set up in the colors. So the green section is your I feel well section. The amber section is I feel worse. And the red section is I feel much worse. And we're going to talk about that in the upcoming slides. A prescription. Once your action plan is filled out, you will take it to your next appointment with your respirologist or family doctor. It is preferable to share it with your respirologist as they are more familiar with the action plans. You may take the prescription to your pharmacist, who will hold it until you need it. Once used, a new prescription will be required. Therefore, it's a good idea to follow up with the respirologist once you're feeling better. That way, he can check you after you've had a flare-up or an exacerbation, and he can write you a new prescription that again will be given to your pharmacist to be held in the event that you have another exacerbation or flare-up. And this is what the prescription looks like. So the physician will fill it out. It's not like your usual prescription, but this is what the prescription looks like for the COPD action plan. So what does the green mean in the action plan? Green means your usual symptoms. So the green section identifies when you feel well. A COPD educator will help identify the symptoms that you have every day when you are feeling your, we'll say usual, right? So cough, with or without sputum production, may be the usual for you. Not everyone that has a cough produces sputum. So it's always different with everyone. Shortness of breath, it may be usual for you. So if you have a COPD diagnosis, you're always going to have some level of shortness of breath. But what is the usual for you? Does it take a lot of exertion? For an example, a walk for 2 or 3 blocks to get you short of breath? Or does it take climbing the stairs to another level in your house to get you short of breath? So this is how we look at it. How are your symptoms usual for you? And then fatigue or feeling tired throughout the day. With COPD, it's not uncommon to feel tired. So you have to identify, when do you feel tired? Do you feel tired in the afternoon? Do you feel tired early evening and you have an early night? There's different symptoms that go with that. So we'll keep talking about it so that you can understand how it all ties together. So amber, these are the changes in my usual symptoms. So the amber section identifies symptoms that are not usually what you experience every day. You may notice an increase in cough or sputum production or both. Your sputum may change color. You may feel more short of breath when doing your usual activities. You may feel more tired than usual. These are signs that an exacerbation or flare-up may be starting. So when I talk about your sputum may change color, if you don't normally produce sputum, then if you start to produce sputum, that is a change. Even if there's no color change because you normally don't produce it, coughing up sputum would be new for you. It's not something that is in your usual everyday symptoms. You may feel more short of breath. So when I say that, when doing your usual activities, I mean that if it takes 2 blocks for you to feel any shortness of breath, then when you're walking, if by the time you finished 1 block, you're really short of breath, that is different for you. It's not your usual. Normally you can walk 2 blocks, but you have found that after 1 block, you're really your breathing is really working hard. So that is different for you. When I say you may feel more tired than usual, you may feel more tired during the whole day. It might not just be at certain times of the day, but you might be feeling tired more often. And it may be by even doing less. You may find that if you go for a walk and you become short of breath earlier than usual, then you get fatigued, you tend to go home and you rest. So that is the tiredness, that it is more than your usual everyday symptoms. All of these symptoms are more than your everyday, and that's what's important, knowing how you feel every day and knowing that when there's a change happening. Because COPD is a chronic disease, it's hard to determine what is new. So you really have to pay attention to your symptoms and know that on your usual normal day, you can do the groceries, you can do the dishes, you can cook dinner, you can go for a game of golf, you can do those things and you can handle them. But on days where you feel that even one of those things is a challenge, then, as I say, these are signs that an exacerbation or flare up may be starting. Red. The red section of the action plan is a guide to how long it should take before you notice your symptoms improving. Usually 48 to 72 hours after starting a prescription, the person should notice a decreased cough, sputum, if you produce any, turning lighter and closer to its usual color, and less amounts of sputum produced. You have more energy, less shortness of breath, and change in sputum color are signs that prescription is working. Continue with the prescription until it is finished. You should feel more like your usual self. So, amber to red. This section indicates that you need to start your prescription. So you call your pharmacist, get your prescription filled. You just tell them that you need your action plan prescription filled. You take your prescription as ordered by the physician. Try to carry on with your activities of daily life, but at a slower pace. You may also need to use your salbutamol or your rescue inhaler to open your airways. Pursed lip breathing can also help with your symptoms. You should expect your symptoms to improve once you've started on your prescription. Red. If there is no relief from the prescription and your symptoms are worsening, go to the hospital. It may be that you need a different antibiotic or a higher dose of prednisone. Whatever the reason, it's advisable to act versus waiting for an improvement. Waiting too long may result in a longer hospital stay and you'll be more ill. So if you find that after, 3 days, 72 hours, that you're really not feeling any better, there's no improvement, then you need to act on that because the symptoms won't improve unless you get treatment. Now, it may be that that particular antibiotic is just not strong enough for you or not the right one. There's always some reason that you may need to be, reassessed. So don't hesitate to go to the emergency department to get reassessed. We don't really advise you to call your family doctor because some people will maybe call their family doctor and wait for 2 to 3 days for an appointment. And by that time, you're in really rough shape. So if you get to that red section of the action plan and there's no relief and you're not feeling any better, you're feeling worse, it's best just to come to the hospital. Prescription. So what if my prescription isn't helping? We just talked about that. You take it for at least 48 hours. You have to give it time to work. If no change or symptoms are worsening, you come to the hospital emergency department. What if my prescription does help me? So you finish the prescriptions and make an appointment with your doctor for a follow-up visit and lung check. Because what you want to do is you want to go and you make sure that you have, recovered from this flare-up. Don't forget with COPD, because it's a chronic disease, it takes longer to get over flare-ups or exacerbations than it would if you didn't have lung disease, right? So when you have a COPD flare-up or exacerbation, it can take 4 to 6 weeks to really recover from that. But you should notice that you feel better, that there's an improvement, that you have more energy, that you can do more things, or that you're interested in doing more things. So you're not feeling as unwell.